we have Pragati, Senior Manager, Strategic Partnerships at Pinterest. She has a fun fact about Pragati. She has a podcast called Chai Tea, where she speaks with different executives from all walks of life and they discuss how to break into different industries. Joining Pragati is Ploy, Head of Brand and Digital Marketing at KBJ Capital. Actually, she graduated from the from the Faculty of Archaeology, but she has never worked in this field since she graduated. Everyone, including herself, was shocked, as she has been working as a marketer since her first job. Her first boss must have seen something in her. And then we have Benjamin, Director Demand Generation at Exclaimer. Ben got his first role in a startup. After quitting his job in London, he flew to Berlin and didn't get on the flight home and turned out spending 3 years there. Last but not least, we have Nat, Head of Marketing at Monex. He is a marketer who thrives on metrics, but math can make him feel less alive. Welcome all our panel speakers, and Nat will moderate the whole session. Over to you, Nat, to start our first session of the day.
Thank you, Teddy. Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome again to the Global Virtual Martech Summit 2024 for the APAC track, and also our panelists here. So today we're going to have the discussion on the digital content creation, redefining and elevating brand engagement with digital content. Okay, so again, my name is Natapong Inpo Anat. I'm the head of marketing at Monex, a Bangkok-based fintech startup with a vision to provide opportunities, especially for those underserved people to prosper and enjoy life. So we offer the digital lending platform called Phoenix, the AI-powered application to serve the underserved. And you already know about my fun facts, so math is something that I so in love with. Okay, so I'm delighted to be your moderator today for this session. This is the first time as a moderator here, so please give me a warm welcome as well, and I make sure that this session is going to be fun and full of insights, okay? So, okay, cool. So we will start the session with poll, and then a couple of questions from all, to all the panelists, followed by the key takeaway, and then the Q&A from the audiences, okay? So now it's poll time, okay? Yep. Okay, the poll question is, what is the use of AI and maturity in digital content marketing work here? So from scale 1 to 10, please feel free, to select the number. Okay. So in the meantime, we are waiting for, the poll results. So let's have a quick discussion, introduction here with all the panelists here. So starting with Pragati, okay, could you introduce yourself a bit here to the audience?
Thanks, Nat. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking up the time to be here with us. As Nat mentioned, my name is Pragati. I am Strategic Partner Manager for Pinterest. And for the past 8 years, I have built my career over media as well as tech. I've worked in APAC, a couple of other countries, North America as well. And trust me when I say I live, eat, and breathe content for the past 8 years. That's what I do. And I'm very, very excited to be here to share a couple of my insights, to learn from all my co-panelists, and just, in general, learn from all of you guys. So looking forward to this. Thank you so much.
Cool. So let's move to Kun Ploy. Gab, could you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Headquartered in we are KB Kookmin Bank in Korea. Yeah, and now we operate like a non-bank in Thailand, and we provide a loan for the revolving loan, mobile loan, something like that. And I work taking care about the brand and digital marketing for KPJ Capital, and our products in Thailand is named Cash Joy. And today we're excited, you guys, and I hope that we can learn a lot from you guys too. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kun Ploy. So now the gentleman here. Okay, so Ben, over to you. Please introduce yourself a bit.
Thanks, Nat. Really happy to be here and super excited about this session. I've been working in tech for about 10 years, lots of different roles, but I'm always been in marketing. And I'm hoping today I can really represent the demand gen perspective and how we're working together with content and digital creation. Just a little bit, I'm currently at a company called Exclaimer. I've been there for a year and a half, and our big challenge, we've been going from legacy technology company into modern tech SaaS. So we're doing a lot to get more mature in this area. So really excited for this topic myself. Thanks.
Cool. Okay. So now let's move to the poll results. Okay. Yeah. So the scale here we see, right, from 0 to 10. So from here to learn to build product. Okay. Yeah. So Prakati, what is the score for you?
I would say I'll definitely go somewhere between 7 to 8.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely had to learn, but at the same time build product, as I said earlier on. Yeah.
Okay.
Use of AI is definitely high. That's the key word for the year, right? AI.
Yeah. What about you, Ben?
I'd say we're definitely on a 6 or a 7 at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got quite a few good programs, but we could be doing more in the workflow area.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, Khun Plai, what about you?
Well, I think about 8, yeah, because I think we have to use a lot of them and that's so useful. Yes, and we have a lot of things to learn as well.
Okay, cool. So I can't wait to hear, the advice and also the insights from you guys. Okay, based on this score. Okay, yep. So why don't we start the first question? Okay, yep. This one, the first question is, let's discuss the latest trends and how do you curate digital content in the organization. Okay, so this one, Ben, would you like to start?
Yes, absolutely. So for a little bit of context, when I joined a year and a half ago, we didn't really have much, right? We had a huge website and a big PPC spend in marketing, and there was not much else doing. We'd added email marketing and we sent more emails in 1 month than we did in the previous year. So we were really trying to move quickly. In today's world, though, we've now got a really good function. We've got a great brand and creative team. We have design in-house. We also have content in-house. We still partner with outside agencies as well. But what we're really trying to do is work out how together we can actually, I suppose it's the same challenge for everyone, how we can expand our capabilities, how we can do more with the same amount of resource. I'm sure we all have the same challenge. So for us, and Nat, it's funny you've asked this poll question, we're using AI more and more. So we have a good basis there. I won't go into it too much, but we have some tooling to recut video using AI. We're doing content where we've got Jasper, and that will use people's different tone of voice. So we might have the tone of voice of my CMO. So we'll create posts for her and things like that. So that I would say is maybe a 4 out of 10 in AI. Like for us, before maybe 2 months ago, I thought that was really up there. And then Insight Partners, the PE firm that owns our company, we had a workshop with them about generative AI, and that changed everything I thought I knew about it. And they had a whole workflow builder in a Google Sheet. It was phenomenal. Yeah, that's why I've adjusted my score down to a 6 or 7. I think I would have been more confident before. But really, our biggest trend and challenge is how can we use AI to extend the capabilities of the team? That's the biggest focus for us right now.
Okay, sure. What about you, Khun Plai?
So for in Thailand, now we are very focusing on our content in TikTok, because actually it's very good for our target, because if we're looking for our products, right? So I'm so surprised that for the lead generation that I gain from our channel, actually I can gain the most from TikTok. And so because actually we go through in all channels, right? In Facebook, in everything. But the TikTok is the most number that we can gain. So we're very focusing on the creating the content, the short video, also in YouTube. So in YouTube, right? So we maybe because our products is have to give them the knowledge of our products, and maybe we are very new in the market also, because we just operate in Thailand, and but in YouTube is still good in the video, right? But the short video is still gain the most engagement, and also for the lead generations. Yeah. So and for the AI, yeah, actually for the creative team, yeah, we have a lot of AI gen for the photo and video also. And for the chatbot, our LioA still work, and there's a lot of lead generation from that channel also. So I think it's the time that we have to learn technical or the content also in each channel.
Okay, so do you have the in-house team for the creative production as well, like Ben has?
Yeah, actually I have in-house for all the creative team and the content in all channel, and I use some hello. Yeah.
Yes, please continue.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We have in-house to do our own content, and just some campaign that we can use the agency to help us to do content or other campaign. But actually, we focusing on our in-house media. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, employee. Let's move to Prakati. Okay. What about you? What is the trend? Okay, and how do you create the content?
Thanks, Nat. I would agree with both Ben and Ploy. I think we are using more or less the same sort of insight, be it your AI or be it in terms of content. What is different, I would say, and coming from a platform POV, it's also the inclusion and the diversity that you can bring along with AI. Yes, AI is fantastic. You can create content. There's variety and there's no end to it. But at the same time, I think be it any platform, be it Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you can think of, everybody's looking for a representation, and you can use the same content, but you'll have to use it in terms of how is it applicable in APAC. When I'm going on a platform to shop, is it showing the kind of person that I am? It could be like a hair care product for your curly hair. So one of the things that we do, and I might say quite fantastically, is basically, just making sure that everybody is represented on the platform, and there are systems in place and Gen AI, which can very quickly and easily target exactly the kind of behavior you're looking for from the consumer. So if I'm looking for something related to certain body type, certain skin tone, or a certain hair type, it's very easy for us to kind of adopt it and produce more and more content relevant to it. So I'd say AI, and definitely focus on data, because data is a big learning for us. That could help us in making our future content, as well as just making sure that we are providing the right content to the right people. Yeah, those would be my learnings.
Okay, cool. So let me share my experience here a bit. So regarding the trend, I agree with you guys regarding the AI, especially the generative AI, right? Yeah, especially in the content area. So I would say it from the perspective of Thai people, because Thai language is very difficult for the AI to learn, because it contains a lot of connotation, and also different cultural point of view. So the content created in English is much easier to do back then. Let's say last year, right? We cannot depend on the, let's say, ChatGPT to create the content for us. For example, the caption for social media or the script for the video. But today with the ChatGPT 4 and right? Yeah, the new name for it. Yeah, so it can do it can create the content and even write the copywriting, marketing word very, what should they say, nicely, even better than I can. So for example, so I think it's growing very fast in terms of the AI in the content creation. Right? Understand that Ben has a team in-house, employ as well. And Prakati, do you have the creative team in-house as well? Okay, so three of you, right, have the creative team in-house. So this would be interesting. Okay, so I keep this for the last question. Okay, so let's move to the second question. Okay, yeah. Okay, so in the meantime, if you guys in the audience has the question, right, you can feel free to post this on the Q&A box, okay? Yep, so the second question is, how digital content fits into the customer journey with Martech, and who are the consumers and target audience? Okay, so this time, let's start with Prakati.
Oh, cool. I might take a different approach. I will tackle the question number, like the second part of the question first, because that's how I personally approach.
Yep.
Exactly. The big question is, who are your consumer? Who are your target audience? Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I think I start from backward funnel where who my target audience is. Am I going for example, B2B or B2C? Am I going for a certain vertical, a certain cohort of, say, Gen Zs or millennial? And from thereafter, I start drawing, okay, fine. For example, if I'm reaching out to Gen Z, we know static content won't work. Video is going to work. I think Ploy also mentioned earlier on the TikTok works very well in that sense because it's all video. So in that sense, you start drawing, go onto your blackboard and just start drawing backwards, like who your consumer are, how do they fit in, what vertical are they, what's the current industry trend. And from thereafter, you can build your content. Hey, I'm working on a Gen Z campaign. Let's definitely use AI because you do need some base, but then we can get more creative on it. So I'll say balance it out, use AI for the basic plot, and then with all your industry learning, all your industry trends, just build up on it. So yeah, that's how I would say that I personally go about my customer journey. Does that answer your question?
Yep, of course. Okay, so what about you, Ben?
For me, it's quite similar. So we've got two main challenges. I think, first of all, getting panel research and actually researching with the audience is a really big challenge. And one of the areas we've actually just started to do it, and it's only just been explained to us actually, is using really detailed prompts and inputs with ChatGPT. You can actually feed in and get it to behave as though it's a certain persona, and then actually panel itself and actually feed the questions back and then further interrogate what you're asking. So we're using that to get started now. I must say it's much cheaper than running market research, and it's a hell of a lot faster. I'm not saying it's perfect though, but it gives you a really good guide if you know what your product direction is and what customer journey you have. And then the second part of our challenge, and I think this is an ongoing challenge, and I've been on some webinars recently where we've talked about this, it is really trying to make sure we are mapping content to the buying stages. So we're a B2B company, and how do you make B2B exciting? And no one follows a linear path that's easy to track. And I don't know if anyone else is having the same challenge, but 50% of our traffic is not cookied. So we don't even know who that individual is and what they're tracing. So we're really trying to get much better at working together with the digital content team to actually produce more content and test and then track and see how it's performing. So normally you end up with a good data point around which stage it's working well at, or you end up with a good data point about how effective it is at moving some along. You never really get two at the same time anymore. That was maybe 5 years ago. That was super nice back then. So really, we're just trying to work to the funnel, build out the content, and just make sure we're testing, and then see what we can do from there. One big thing we did do, there might be one or two pieces still left on the website, is we started ungating everything. I think one of the big trends is that people want value first. They don't want to give you their details in exchange for a piece of content. Like, really, we want to make sure we're giving value first. And if they happen to then come and do something with us later, that's fantastic because we're educating them about the product. So I would say that's the biggest change in the customer journey for us.
Okay, so I think it's interesting. Yeah, so I think it's interesting, Ben, and I think the audience would love to, learn more about how the generative AI or the AI, right, could help create the content based on the customer journey. I mean, the marketing funnel, for example, from the top funnel to the bottom one. Okay, because this one is quite clear when we talk about the acquisition, also the retention, right? Yeah. Could you explain this a little bit more in order to maybe give some advice to the audience here? How can they start?
Yeah, of course. So if you start with, and I'm not the biggest expert, but we've done some workshops recently with the investment firm, and it's been fantastic. So if you start with some source information about your customer profile and who your target customers are, you can feed that into ChatGPT. So I'm talking about ChatGPT, and the other tool we use is Jasper. So we use Jasper specifically to create content, but we use ChatGPT for more of the research and to build the foundation. And then we might feed it into Jasper to then make that blog post or make that LinkedIn post or make that whatever. Excuse me. Because then it's trained. We've trained Jasper to actually know the tone of voice of our CMO or of one of our other directors or of our CEO. It's really helpful for this. So with ChatGPT, we're doing two things first. We're taking the source information around who our customer is and who our customer profile is. Don't worry, no personal data. This is just high level who the persona is. And then the second part is we might feed in what we would normally call a hero piece of content, even if it's not quite finished, but something we know is working. And we could ask ChatGPT to take the perspective of that persona or the perspective of, say, a demand gen marketer who's working in APAC. What do they think would be the best delivery? And then query that piece of content. And then you can break it out per funnel stage, and you can tell it which funnel stages you have, and then really start to refine. But once you have, even if you just have 4 funnel stages, for example, don't stop there. You then need to go and have a look and then ask it to interrogate each of them. That's the most important part. I will say the one catch, if you see it going wrong, don't then add the next prompt and try and generate further. Stop and get it to fix it. Because just like when PPC came along, you know, and you're spending on ads, you can do things badly way faster. So we have the same problem here if you're not careful. So I would say that's the number one thing to do, but you really can get ChatGPT to build it out. And then we almost use Jasper now as finishing school, should I say, that then it goes to there to package it in the tone of voice of the person we need. And then now most of our content team, I think this is a general trend, and it would be great to hear the perspectives of others, is that actually the content team are more editors now, and they take a more editorial function, and they're kind of the masters of AI in this situation. So it's almost going through 3 phases to get to the final results. I hope that explains that.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I think what I learned from you is that don't trust the AI yet. Okay, so and we also need to have a knowledge domain, right, to check and validate, right, whether the result that they are providing, the AI is providing is correct or not, something like that. Okay, yep. So look forward to the better AI in the coming months, I think. Okay, so Kun Plai, what about you? Okay, so how did the content fit into the customer journey with the Martech, and who are your customers, consumer, and target audience? Okay, so okay.
Maybe while we wait for Ploy, I would like to add something. I love what Benjamin said, and one thing that I think is important for all of us, like while we figure out and navigate all the AIs and like plots and whatnot, take some time to learn. Like whatever you have done in the past and whatever prompts you are using, whatever customer journey you are focusing on, learn from the past, like take some time out, carve that time and be like, hey, you know what, this is the campaign that we ran, or this is what maybe you're trying to raise awareness. That's the end goal of the activity that you're doing. What happens when you did a certain prompt versus the other one? What happens when you do work around certain demographic versus the other one? So I would definitely say take some time, learn, and then reapply those prompts with a top of it, and then use your new tech, whatever you are interested in. But yeah, take some time out to learn. You'll be very surprised how much experimentation you have already done while you are waiting for somebody else to tell you, for a third-party partner. So yeah, just learn from your own mistakes or wins.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Kun Plai, what about you?
Yeah. Okay. So okay, actually we we are really focusing on data, right? Because we have to do for all the digital channels, and we have to looking for who is our consumer and target audience. So this is very important things that in every channels, actually we have very different sometimes, because in TikTok or maybe in Instagram, in Facebook or YouTube or every channels, when we learn, we know that, okay, this channel is good for this kind of customer, this kind of target. But in another channels, we have to do another content. We have to look for another target, because it's very different if we're looking for the data that we have in each campaign that we can gain. Yeah, so it's very have to concern about the target audience in each channel also to fit in our content. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about your target audience is on TikTok and YouTube Short, something like that. Could you explain more to the audience why Thai people love such the format of the content?
Yeah, because and we have to communicate with them, and it's very easy to engage it if the content can hit to the point, right? And they can go to our lead generation very easy if in that channel. In YouTube, it's just for sometimes just for awareness, to give them can like acknowledge our products or how to or something, but they will come back later for to be our customer. Yeah.
Okay, so cool. Thank you, Khun Ploy. So let me share my insight into this a little bit. So as I said early in the meeting, that my target audience, right, is the underserved people, those whose income is less than let's say $500 per month. Okay, so they need a microcredit product. So my application provides such, the micro credit lending to them. Okay, so based on such the behavior from their media consumption, for example, how they consume their digital content, on each social media channels, just similar to employ, that most of the Thai people love something very quick and not, what should I say, straight to the point. So YouTube Short and also the TikTok video, are very popular platform here in Thailand. But the key main point is that how we can create such a content, even though we have the in-house team, right, to produce such a video. But at the end of the day, we will come. It will come to the question that how many videos and how many content we can create per day, and what would be the productivity, to produce them, whether to do it in-house or whether to outsource it to the agencies, right? Because every minute there would be millions of video, right, ingested to the platform, and people will swipe, and see a lot of video, and how can we catch their attention? So I think Ben brought up a good point, regarding this, how to produce such a video and how to play with them, and also the advice and insights from Prakati regarding the experiments, that when we use generative AI to help design, and we can test and iterate, we will see that, okay, we have done so many experiments and we can get insight. Let's say, for example, A/B testing and stuff, right? And which one, the format, for example, the video ratio, whether it's going to be square, rectangular, or it's going to be vertical or something, right? Including the message in the video and in the image or in the caption as well. Okay, I think this point is very interesting, to everyone when we talked about the customer journey and also the content production. Okay, so let's move, okay, to the last question number 3. Okay, so this one, the question is the challenges and opportunities in fostering collaboration between marketing and creative teams. Okay, I think lots of people in the audience have the same, feeling and also thoughts. Okay, so this one, let's start with Khun Ploy.
Yeah, so actually, is a kind of main issue with our creative team, because actually, because I take care for the creative team also, and sometimes for the products team, and I think the issue is kind of communications, because sometimes the creative team, they have the way of working in themselves, but in the products team, they kind of another logic. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But for yeah, sometimes they have kind of issue together. So I think I have to be the middle of the communications to solve up them, because sometimes the product team, they don't know how to brief or how to to communicate with the creative. So I just have the way of working together. Like, okay, if you would like to work with the creative team, what kind of way of work that you can do, the brief form or everything that to be easy for the creative team also. And sometimes when they have kind of workshop together, so everything is getting better, because sometimes they need to talk to each other to know what the products want or what kind of creative team can do. Yeah, and also the timeline, because it's always like very short term to create. Yeah, so it's faster the timeline also. Yeah, but I think we need to talk and make something understand together. Yeah, so it's will be easy.
Okay. What about the campaign results? For example, we post something on Facebook, right? And then we see the monthly report, we see the engagement rate, we see the reach, we see the, what do they say, CTR, for example, right? How do you bring this test results, the campaign results, right, to talk to the creative team to improve, the performance of the creative assets?
Yeah, so because of we have just few products, right? So the content we can compare with because we have the weekly meeting to like look for our report or our content and review what we can gain from in each channel. So they will know about, okay, this one maybe not work, this one we thought that will be work, but it's not, something like that. So we have to try more, and kind of A/B testing sometime, and we have to very details for the content in each products that we want. Yeah, sometimes our content, maybe we thought that it's not good, but why the lead generations come very good. Yeah, we have to looking for maybe about the promotions, maybe about the key message, or maybe about the design or something. Yeah, because sometimes it's different. Yeah, so we have to work hard also with the creative team to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so how do they feel when they see such a result? Okay, are they excited, to learn that? Okay,
yeah, because actually last year we can have the good performance on our creative team content and for the lead generation. So they feel like, oh, the work that they work very hard, right? And they feel like, oh, these things that come back with a good result, and they will feel like, oh, I have to more challenged in every day, because the number will be more and more for the target, right? So this is the I think for the creative team, if we have the way to communicate with them, they will feel proud of themselves also. So we have to push up and support them in everything that we can do together. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Okay. So what about you, Prakati?
All right. Boy, you just nailed that. In terms of challenges, I mean, where do I start? I think everybody who's in this conference, I believe they all can agree. We all have our different targets. We all have our... Yeah, please, if you guys agree, and I'm pretty sure most of the people will, there will always be challenge when you're working with external team. Doesn't matter whether it's in your own organization or it's external. So let's not focus on the challenge. Where do I find opportunity is in basically two things. First is find your ally. When you're working with creative team, you need to have one person who is gonna speak about, favor you, speak about the kind of work that you're doing when you're not present in the room. So always find an ally. I think that they will be your biggest cheerleader. And likewise, you have to do the same for them. And the second thing that I would say is find the common ground. No matter what sort of company you're working, whether it's a platform like myself, or you're a SaaS company, or you are finance, whatever you're working on, find the common OKR. I'm pretty sure we all share same OKRs across teams. Find that and then try to use that OKR in order to work with creative team and be like, hey, this is what we need and this is the reason why we need. And then, of course, back it up with what Floy and Nat, you said earlier on. Show up the result. I think numbers speaks for themselves. I can keep on going and keep on talking, but till the time I'm able to show that, hey, here's the result. This is what I need, and I need this because this fits both of our OKR. So find that common ground, treat them as another human being, I would say. And yeah, just find that common ground, have a supporting ally. It should work. Yeah, it has worked for me. I'm pretty sure it should work for you guys as well.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Glad to hear that because you give us the advice on how to communicate with them. Okay. Yeah. And I love the fact that you said numbers speak for itself, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So Ben, I think we can, learn a lot from you here regarding this. Okay. Let's move to you.
Oh, super challenging to follow the recommendations there. There's not much left. I really would say that spending a bit of time with the non-creative teams to do some training around briefing, and then doing an actual face-to-face or video face-to-face briefing session, because Pragati started to mention this about finding common ground. But I think the number one thing for us, if you don't have loads of data, is providing context, exactly as was said, around why we are doing this, what we're trying to get to and what the objective is. I think when teams are bought into this as a group, it makes things much easier. And then one thing we are trying to do, and this is a big opportunity for us, is get better at tracking. We actually have a fantastic person running our paid social, and in our all hands recently, she's put together, here's some of the creative, this is resonating best with this persona, this one is landing better with this persona, and then here are 2 versions of the ad. And that was fantastic, and that happens at the end of the month in the all hands. But having that as an ongoing thing, I think it will make the job feel more fulfilling for everyone. So I think that's really important for us to bring the data more and have a better cycle and make that a regular thing, whether it's bi-weekly, for example. And then also just making sure we're spending that little bit more time up front to provide context and brief better to those teams. I'd say that's number one. That also helps if you're not happy with the first version that comes back as well. If you spend a bit more time up front, you're allowed to ask for more iterations.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Ben. So I have 2 things to add on to the panelists here. The first one, I think I would talk about the opportunity. Okay, so we talked about the in-house team, right? Yeah. So previously, it's going to be based on the the methodology or the theory that we learned from being in the agency, right? Yeah. But now it's more like, okay, we are becoming more and more AI-based creative team. For example, the image production, video production, with the rise of the generative AI in the forms of the, Midjourney, and ChatGPT or so on. So this one, I think is going to be the future, the opportunity for the team to learn, especially the prompt, right? How to teach AI to produce such the compelling creative assets, for example. And also the second one would be the OKR that Pragati brought up. In my team, it's quite fun because I just raised this to the team that, hey, what about we put the, using AI in our OKR for the creative team? And the challenge that, okay, let's put 50% of all the creative will be produced by the generative AI. And my creative team say, go, let's do this. Okay. And we are learning every day, and we are now can't wait to see the result, how, effective it would be for the team. Yeah. Okay. So these would be 2 things that I would like to add on for this question. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I saw a lot, I see a lot of questions from the audiences. Okay. So let's move to the final part of this question, right?
Yep. Yes. Thank you, Nat. Thank you for moderation. Very insightful sharing amongst 4 of you. So let's jump to the Q&A sections. We do receive questions. Wait a second. So yes, so we have one question here. I think it's a very common concern or questions regarding AI. So this question is from Tirasak. Any suggestions for applying AI to meet organizations' policy and ethical standards? So yeah, this is a quite common question, like asking about ethical concerns and privacy concerns. anyone would like to jump in here to answer this
I
question?
can kickstart.
Yep,
Maybe I
Kakati.
can take on this question because we are very serious when it comes to internal policies. My best advice would be when you're using or just starting with the AI, go with the basic one. You don't have to go with the more sensitive information. I would always use AI because you have to understand it's an open platform. So when you're using an open platform such as ChatGPT or any other AI, I would say that stick with the most common information that is not sensitive to your organization. That's the best way to go about it. And eventually, the more and more AI develops and there are more and more strict policies around it, I think you'll be able to find or meet your own organizational policy. But the best way and the safest way is to go ahead with non-sensitive information. Yeah.
Thank you, Kakati.
Just to add to that, if you don't mind, Teddy, we
Sure.
have exactly the same attitude towards it as well. So, for example, where we use ChatGPT, that's mainly been used by employees almost in that kind of arts and crafts phase to have a go, improve what they're doing and be a bit more efficient. And we definitely don't put any personal data or anything too specific. With Jasper, because we own the space and we've trained it, again, we don't put any customer information in, but we certainly do train it to the tone of voice of some of our employees who've agreed to that. But it's definitely a situation where everyone's opted in to this, and we certainly wouldn't be giving the AI access to anything else just yet. I think that would be maybe a year away before we start considering more than that.
Yep, definitely. Thank you, Ben. Floyd or Nat, anything to add? If not, I can move to the next question. No problem. So let me move to this one. Actually, it's a question for Ben as well. When you mentioned your answer for question 1, as I remember. So this is from Rebecca. So she would like to learn more about how cookie works with the published content, or how can you explain a little bit when you mentioned about cookies or the first party data, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, everyone, I cannot solve the cookie challenge we're all facing. So just to manage your expectations. But we do use Pardot and we use some other CMS tools. So one of the key things to get into our workflow is to stop people sending out PDFs, as an example, or putting PDFs as a download unless they are using a tracked link. So instead of gating and asking everyone, hey, what's your name, first name, job title, what's your dog's name, what's your cat's name, and all these ridiculous questions we normally ask people before we give them a piece of content, we're really trying to make sure we just put tracked links everywhere. And a lot of the time, if someone hasn't yet accepted cookies, but they haven't rejected them, a lot of these tools will then mosaic the data together later. So it might be capturing, and then once they've accepted, then it should start to capture it. And then if they then give you their details later, it will then populate that in the database. So you get a bit of a history. So we do that across video, we do that across content. Obviously, we have some good tracking on the website as well. There are some tools that might work in certain regions, but don't work in others. Unfortunately, I haven't got a great one for APAC because obviously everyone's a bit careful. But I'm managing teams globally. There are some good tools in the US where it's very, should I say, liberal with data privacy as well, but that are totally legitimate too. So you can't just do one thing with cookies now. You need to be doing lots of different things and looking at lots of different tracking. The one in the US I mentioned is called R with an exclamation mark, or RB2B. It will help take the website visitors and then turn them into LinkedIn profiles. So you actually identify them using their LinkedIn profiles. Very, very clever. I'm sure it will get shut down probably in 6 months or something. But for now, it's a very useful and legitimate tool. So there are lots of opportunities that are maybe temporary at the moment before Google works out what to do with cookies.
Yep. Thank you, Ben. And next question we have here, I think everyone can have a contribution on this one. So this is from Michelle. She's interested to know if anyone of this panel tested performance effectiveness of AI-generated content versus human-generated content on the campaign. So, yep. Anyone want to jump in here?
I'm happy to talk to this.
Yep, and
quickly.
you can go first.
Yes, we test this all the time, all the time. I don't think we're putting out much content anymore where it's just human generated. It always tends to be a hybrid now, to be honest. The one thing I would say we really learned from the numbers, and this goes into everything, not just with content, but also even with like BDRs sending messages. Honestly, it's authenticity and something feeling very personal and very real. That is the biggest difference maker. And I'm sure all of you know this. When you're scrolling through LinkedIn or anything else, it's just a blur and you don't read most of it. But when someone really says something that speaks to you personally, that is the thing that's really making the difference. And we see that in the numbers as well. And I say that we see that in the numbers in terms of the content we're writing and sharing in posts, but also the content we're sharing on more of a traditional format as well, but making it specific and just very personalized and very authentic. I don't know if Pragati, if you're having the same experience.
Absolutely. I was going to say that more or less the same thing, that it's very obvious when a content is AI generated. Yes, we all are up for it, 100% go for it, that's the future. But the moment you read it, I read it, we'll get to know, oh, this is AI generated image or this is AI generated context. So the best way is to always mix it up. Yes, get your base, get your key points out there, and then top it up with how you personalize it. So when somebody reads, for example, my LinkedIn post, they should feel Pragati is saying, rather than be like, oh, this is a copy paste from somewhere else. And 100% in terms of number, you would see that difference. People interact when they feel it's more for them, rather than it's not like early 2000 where, you would produce a generic content and that would work. The more niche you go, the more you can be relatable. That's how it's going to work. So yeah, just mix it up. Yeah, and human would always be better, not better, but yeah, will perform better than your AI generated.
Yep, thank you, Pragati. Sorry, speakers, that's the time we